everyone. Welcome to season 2, episode 3. Today we are going to be digging into those curved roofs. I am also live streaming to YouTube, so if you can't really see what I'm doing, you can click on the YouTube link and get a screen recording. And you can kind of see a little bit more of what exactly I'm clicking on. I always like to say hello when I first jump on, and then I sit you guys in my stand and you'll just see my screen. So today we're going to try together to figure out how to do those swoopy roofs in our precedent design that we have been mimicking. So this is going to be a really good episode. I'm going to learn how to do something new. You're going to learn how to do something new, and we're going to have fun doing it together. So I'm going to prop you up in my stand, and we're going to just get started. Again, if you can't see what I'm doing too well on the live stream here, feel free to click on the live stream link to YouTube in my story slides. All right, so I'm just propping you guys up here, making sure that looks good and you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Definitely is a challenge trying to live stream your screen, so if you want to hop over to YouTube, I won't be hurt. But I love that Instagram gives everybody the notification that I'm going live and we're doing something fun. All right. And everyone that's on YouTube, thanks for bearing with me. I just got my Instagram set up. All right. So let me pull up one of my images and we'll just review what we're trying to model together today. So we're going to try and do these beautiful sweeping roofs. And like I said, this is going to be a sweeping roof exercise and it's going to be a learning process for you and me both. I'm really excited to start this and see how I do. So I'm going to move this to my other screen just so it's primarily out of the way. And then I'm going to get started and we are going to start seeing what we can do here. All right, so this one's sweeping and this one's sweeping. What I'm going to attempt first is in the architecture tool, there's roof, and there's roof by footprint, which is what I've been doing for all of these roofs, is drawing footprints and drawing the outline of them. For this curved roof, I think what I'm going to attempt to do is use the roof by extrusion tool. So the roof reference level, I'm going to pick the roof level. And what this is going to let me do is draw an extrusion. So it wants me to draw it on the ground surface. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click the work plane here, and I'm actually just going to pick this face. So now what I'm drawing on is that elevation and that face. I am so sorry that I keep clearing my throat. I have like a just feel like I have something in my throat. But I'm going to try and not do that in the microphone. So bear with me. So now that I have my work plane set, I know that I'm drawing lines on this work plane. I'm going to set the 3D view to the front and I'm going to start drawing. So I am again looking at my reference images on my other screen. And the way that this slopes is it kind of extends over. So I want to make sure this overhangs 1 foot. And then I'm going to come up. And then I'm going to come over. I'm actually going to delete these lines. And I think I'm going to use this radius tool for now and see what it does. So it definitely gives me that slight radius. I'm not really sure why it looks like it's cutting at an angle. That roof, oh, it's just because the roofs aren't aligned properly. That's okay. So it looks like we're going to need to draw it from this corner here, and then we can just... I also think I need to bring it down. So I'm sort of just going to like sketch out this and then make it sloped afterwards. I want to get the shape going. So it looks like it starts curving right when... Yeah, I think the wall definitely does need to come down. That's a really good point. Someone on Instagram commented that this wall should come down. It definitely does when the roof is sloping into it. So I'm going to pretend like the wall isn't there. Oh, they won't stay. It won't stay. So this definitely is not an identical match at the moment. I'm just seeing what I can create with this extrusion tool. It must be open. I don't know really what it means by that. Extrusion roof sketch must be open. The roof's thickness and material composition are defined by its type. I don't know why it's telling me it needs to be open because it's closed. So we're going to start over. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually carve out that shape, I think, first with the wall. So we have something to follow. So I'm going to edit the profile. And it's going to force me to draw in the peak this time instead of just attaching it, which is fine. It's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. And then I'm going to go from here to here and just start sloping it. So I wish I could measure the radius of this curve. But I'm really just winging it. I feel like that's looking pretty good. It definitely looks like it starts to curve at this wall. So I'm going to move that down here because again, this is just the wall profile that we're sketching in as a guide. And then I'm just going to move it so that they're connected. And that actually looks pretty good if I do say so myself. That looks like a pretty accurate curve. So I'm going to close this wall, and I think now that the wall is the curved shape, we're going to have a lot more success with creating that roof along the same curve. So again, That's what it looks like. I've just carved out the profile of just the front wall, so I'm just going to bring these ones back, and I'm not going to curve it for now, but I'm just going to focus on that for now. These roofs aren't lining up the way that I'd like them to, but instead of fixating on it, I'm just going to move forward with the curve. So roof by extrusion, it's showing me that I can just create the extrusion. So I'm not really sure why it was telling me before that it needed to be closed or open or whatever it said. But I'm going to pick the plane again. I'm going to pick the wall. And then I'm going to pick this curved line. Okay, so let's go to an elevation. And I'm going to pick that curve I created. And then I'm going to copy it up. The thickness of that roof. Yeah, so I actually just did switch to the elevation view instead of the 3D view. I'm not sure if it was getting confused with telling me that it was still open. I'm hoping that doing it in the 3D view will allow it to pick up on the fact that it is a closed extrusion shape. So I'm going to just go like that, and we're going to see. Extrusion roof sketch must be open. The roof's thickness and material composition are defined in its type. I don't know why it's telling me that it must be open. Because when I go to the roof tool, it's telling me that I can draw it. Okay, now we're picking a work plane. Now we're picking this. I'm just sketching it really quickly. Not sure if it just fixed itself. Not sure what's happening. I don't know why it keeps telling me this. Can't make extrusion. Yeah, because it's not closed. And then I close it and it tells me it won't work. This is so interesting to me. Because I am watching their little example and I'm not seeing any issues with what I'm doing. You can literally create it with the profile that you sketch. Open an elevation view. When sketching the roof profile, you can use a combination of straight lines as well as reference planes. Great. The height of the roof depends on the location where you sketch the profile. Correct. I wonder. So I just clicked that. I guess I'll do top of second floor. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't selecting the right floor plane. Anything could be throwing it off. That's one of the things about Revit, is that literally anything could be throwing it off, and it could be the most minor thing. So it is a lot of trial and error, even for me, someone who's been using the program for 7 years now. It's always trial and error. The curve definitely looks a little weird. I think it's because I copied it up instead of offset it. I'm going to offset it a foot and see if that looks less awkward. Looks less awkward. Here I am perfecting the shape of it. I'm willing it to work. It isn't working still. Now I'm just moving it around everywhere, seeing why it's not working. Can't make extrusion. I am not sure why it can't make the extrusion. I am just drawing random arcs right now to see why it's not working. So it keeps telling me that the roof extrusion has to be open, and I think at this point I might just YouTube it and see, because I can't seem to figure out why this isn't working. I've set the plane, I've drawn the extrusion, we have a good profile cut for us for the curve of the roof, and you'd think that a closed extrusion would work. I wonder if I just do a square. So I could model the roof in place, but I'd have to do it outside in a family because Revit Lite doesn't allow you to model in place in the project file. It makes it so that's one of the tools you just don't get. But if I were to open up a family, I'd have the model in place tools. I just wouldn't have this arc to go by, which I really wanted to have. I'm wondering if it is just the arc. It's saying it still must be open. I wonder if it's just the top lines. Yeah, it's just the line. That was a whole lot of struggle for it to just end up being that one line you just have to draw. So that's what it means when it was saying that the depth of it is determined by your roof construction. So I'm using a basic roof with an 8-inch shingle. So it's giving me that depth and that profile automatically based on that. So all you have to do is draw a single line and then it gives you the depth of it for you. It's always so much simpler than you think it's going to be. Like, here I am trying to draw the extrusion. It's like, no, all you have to do is draw one line, and you're good. So, um, that is just a perfect example of Revit being honestly one of those things that Revit does. Um, it isn't matching this exactly, which is interesting. This is 8-inch, this is 8-inch, and I think I'm going to just extend it and leave it like that, and I'm going to adjust the wall to it. Now that I've finally figured out that craziness for the roof, I'm going to adjust this because it's not lining up and it's really bothering me. And then I'm going to adjust this as well because, again, I had to draw in the profile of the roof so that we could get this profile. So now that I have this, I'm just going to copy that, trim up everything. And then I'm going to go to the 3D view and see what it looks like in 3D. So see, it just like extruded it crazy all the way back. This thing that's happening here is basically because it's not dying into this completely, which is frustrating. But if I just go like this, a little tiny bit, it fixes itself. So I'm going to pull this back because we have a little toggle button back there, the arrow. And I'm just going to look at the image again. It's definitely in line with that main roof, so I'm going to extend it out. And then I'm going to go back to the 3D view. And we're going to match it at the corner. And I'm just going to match it at the corner of this one. That one's a little bit off, like I said, just so I could die into it. And then we have our curved roof. And I'm just gonna see if I can join this so that that seam goes away. I can't, but I'm gonna go back to the that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to adjust the shape a little bit. Again, picking that line and then doing trim, which is TR, to just connect those lines. And then I'm going to join this and this. Another thing we can do to sort of get rid of those lines is there's this little button here called line work, and it overrides a line style in an active view. So I'm just going to override these creased lines so that we look like we have a smooth roof, especially when we're panning around in the model. That sort of just cleans it up for us. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think that it really ended up coming out pretty close to the slope of the image. I think that mine's overhanging more than this is, so I'm just going to fix that. I'm going to just bring it in, and that looks automatically better. So I'm just going to save because that was a little bit of a struggle to get there, but we always get there. We never give up. We keep persevering until we figure out what little Revit thing is going wrong and what we need to do to fix it. And then when you figure it out and you solve it, it is very satisfying. So I don't know if we'll get to it tonight, but we're going to be adding in like all these openings, and we're going to be putting in the archways and the windows and the garage, but we're really just focused on finishing these roofs for now. So now that we know how to do it, I'm going to do this back one, which looks like it's about the same, but it starts sloping a lot faster. So I'm going to do pretty much what I did before with this wall, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit the profile, and I'm just going to draw the profile in so that I can really control what that curve is going to be. And then I can really control like picking the lines, and it just makes it so much easier and faster to do it that way. So I'm going to start like up here and create a curve. Again, going back to the picture. It looks like that looks pretty good. I'm going to do TR and trim it up. And then I'm going to, again, just bring these walls down in the back and sort of hide them out of the way for now. All right, and then I'm just going to connect that under there. We got to finish some of the roofs in the back, but I really wanted to do these curved ones first because they are definitely very interesting and not something you would typically do. So I wanted to give us a good taste of what you could do to create these arches. I'm going to go back to the elevation view just because I think it's a little bit easier to pick the lines and control exactly what I'm doing. I'm again going to just hide that down in the back. I am just wondering how this... Alrighty, so I'm going to just fix this wall in floor plan. I'm going to pull it back for now, and I'm going to extend this one to be like in the front. So it's following the curve when I do that. Perfect. Now what we're going to do again is go back to the roof tool, extrusion. We're going to pick this plane, and then we're going to select the green tool, and we're going to pick that curve, and we're just going to check it off. And then we're going to raise it up until we are happy with where it connects. So I will just do the MV move tool and pick that and then line it up as close as I can. And then we can see that the roof is cutting into the wall. So I'm just going to adjust the wall. I go back in. It's a lot of going back and forth, adjusting things as you go, starting with a reference and then going back in and cleaning it up once you have something established. So again, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just extend it a little bit more. And then we can zoom out and we can see we have our nice curve. What we have, I'm going to take and I'm going to again pull it, push and pull with these little toggle buttons and just make it the correct depth, just hanging over the archways that we'll be creating at a later point. And then this one also looks like we could probably move it just a little bit upwards and it would die into that roof behind a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to then adjust this wall just to match what we've done. I'm going to do AL, which is the align tool, and I'm going to go in and just align it to this profile. And then I'm going to pull that part up. And we're going to make sure that the face of that is flush. I'm wondering if I can align the faces. I can. I love that. I'm going to pick this one and align that one. And then I'm just going to go in again with that hide the line tool. So again, you click on the element. It is the line work tool right here. And you can just go in and hide those lines that are sort of showing up wonky in 3D. It really just allows you to like clean up views independently if lines are showing up the way you don't want them to. So I'm going to do that probably here. Here. You know, I don't want to get rid of too many because it is like an actual roof ridge that we would want to see, but sometimes it's not forming 100% correctly, so I'll just hide them. It looks like we have a pretty good base. I'm really happy with how those curves came out. Now everything is looking in 3D. And I'm going to go back here and we're just going to finish up what we started last round, just sort of connecting some of these roofs and walls. So if I open up this picture and I go back to the back image, this is what we're working with. Of course, now that we don't have any wonky curvy profiles to cut out, we can just do our basic attach tool, and we are able to get our perfect peak connecting to that roof. That's one of my favorite tools ever. It's so quick and so easy to accomplish. So one thing that you'll notice though is we have to draw in the dormer walls. So I'm going to go into the level 1 floor plan, and then what we're going to do is go to an elevation and see if we created a second floor. We do have a second floor. We don't have a floor plan created for it, so all we have to do is go to View, Plan Views, drop down Floor Plan, and it's automatically going to give me all of the levels I have created as a floor plan. So top of second floor, great, I'm going to create it. I went into my enlarged plan option for floor plans. I'm just going to change it into the main level floor plans. So this is what we're working with. I do have this for a floor plan. It's not anything crazy. It looks like it just lines up with the tower and then bumps out and then ends over here. So I'm not going to import it. I'm just going to eyeball it. So I honestly don't even need to draw this in because all of this is in the hip roof that you don't see from the exterior. And the dormer that we're seeing on the outside isn't even shown here. It probably lets light into this hallway though. It is a little weird to me that they don't show it, but I'm assuming that it comes back here and lets light in to that space. So I'm going to go back to the exterior on the outside, on the back side, and just look at that again. So if I were to draw the floor plan, like it is just happening in the livable space in this hip roof. So it's not really necessary for the purpose of this exercise. If I was modeling the entire project and worried about the interior walls, I definitely would. But again, we're only worried about the facade. So here is the wall. I can attach it to the top. And something really cool that I've just started to do is I also attached the base. So you just want to switch the button, attach wall, top, or base. And then you want to select the roof. And you can see now if I do HH, which temporarily hides that roof, how this wall started off like this and then was attached perfectly to my roof above and below. So I didn't have to like draw in the profile, which is what we did for this wall. I could just attach it and it works. So another thing that I might actually try and do, let me reset this profile. I just reset it. This is a test. I'm attaching it to the peak and I'm clicking on it again and I'm going to attach it to this roof. So it does work. I'm impressed that it did that. I really didn't think it was going to. I'm actually just going to go ahead and reset the profile and do the same thing for this wall. I still would actually recommend drawing in your curve of your roof with the wall or detail lines to just sort of have something to guide you and to follow. But everyone has a different workflow, has a different area that they want to, a different workflow and different ways that they like doing things. So now that I know I can just attach them, I'm just going to do that for all of them. I'm going to reset that. I'm going to attach them all. This is definitely making it a lot quicker for me now. I don't have to go and carve out all these walls. We're just attaching. Going back to the floor plan, we're just going to bring this there. And we're going to attach again. So that's working really good. I'm excited that that happened. We're going to go back to this dormer. I'm just going to hit the space bar. It's going to flip the wall. And then we're going to attach it at the top. It automatically sets it back to the top, so you have to check off the base again and check the base. So there's that dormer. You can see that all these walls still need to be attached, so I'm just going to go ahead and attach them now that the roofs are in place, looking good. If there's multiple roofs, you have to attach them to the multiple roofs. So I attached the wall here and then I clicked on it again here. You can see that I then have to do it to that third roof. So I'm just looking up and under the roofs, selecting the wall, and attaching to the roof I want it to attach to. I don't know why that's not working. Sometimes it will be like unjoin. I'm unjoining it. Sometimes I just bring them up. It's just easier. So obviously I'm going to lower this. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's lower than the eaves are. I think I have mine a little bit too high. So I feel like that looks about right. Those corners are probably covered. So I feel like that looks good. I am going to leave that for now just because I don't want to have to go in and clean up those roof edges. But what we could do, I think we could just click on the edge of the roof. Well, it's not letting me. I temporarily hid that so I could see if I could select the roof edge, and it's not letting me. So we're just going to leave that for now. And we're going to go and we're going to connect this one. So I am going to edit the footprint so that it's not intersecting the roof at all. And then I'm going to use that roof tool again. I'm going to select. I don't know why it doesn't seem to be letting me select. Oh, it is. I just can't see it. And then I'm going to pick the face I want it to extend to. Again, I'm going to select that roof tool, pick the edge, and select the face I want it to extend to. I love this tool. It is so helpful. I'm going to see if it's going to let me do it here. Again, it's not letting me select the edge here. It's only letting me select one of the faces to connect to, which is interesting. I wonder if I were to I just wonder if there's a way to like clean up how all these roofs are joining each other right now. I haven't figured out in my head how I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to get there eventually. All right, so again, we can see that it's not dying completely into there, so I'm just going to move it over just a tad bit until it joins completely or dies into that roof completely. So that looks pretty good. I can't have it go over anymore. I'm going to lower the slope to be a 10. And then I'm going to go to the top view and I'm going to edit the footprint because I really moved it over. But I think I just need to edit the slope of it because it won't die into it if the slope isn't less than it. So I'm going to go back to making these 1-foot overhangs and then try that again. So when I do that, it still is wanting to not die completely into it. So let's make it a 9/12. And now we have it completely dying into it. We're going to select that roof edge and we're going to connect it there. We got to go over and do the other one. All right. And then I want that ridge and that ridge to line up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it from the top and I'm just going to move it until it aligns. There we go. And then I think from the image, yeah, this is up higher. And we're going to attach this to there. We're going to attach this to this one. We're going to attach all these garage ones that are left open. Just going around attaching all of our roofs. This is lovely. And we're going to attach that one. So now we have all of our roofs attached. I'm going to use that little tool. I have a little line right there I don't want to see. All right, and we're going to put it back to consistent colors. And we're going to see that it looks pretty darn cute. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for joining me. This concludes the roof portion. I hope that if you are following along on your own and modeling this, that once you get to the end of a session, you post a screenshot of your model and you tag me in it on Instagram. I'd love to see everyone's progress, see how everyone else is doing with this modeling. And if you have any questions or you're running into any issues, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll be more than happy to give you a little bit of an extra explanation or some guidance. Next week, we will be going in and adding in all the windows, doors, and openings, and that will be really exciting. I'll show you guys where I get all of my windows and doors, even if we're not using that rep. So the representative I use to get their BIM windows and doors from is, I think, primarily an American manufacturer. I'm not sure if they manufacture outside of the United States, but I think everyone should be able to at least access the website and download the BIM models and use them. And then basically you don't specify the manufacturer, but you can just specify like the window size and then pick a manufacturer in your country or your location that you use. But these are really good BIM models, and I'm so excited to show you guys the website and to move forward with this project and add in the windows and doors. That will definitely start adding some of this beautiful character to the model, and I am excited. I will see you guys next week, same time, same place, YouTube and Instagram Live. Have a great week.